Adversity plays an important role in sports, but as the Murray State Racers would show last night in Carbondale, it's how you respond that matters most. What was supposed to be a home game for the Racers turned into another road game against the Southern Illinois Salukis. Although defeating the Salukis in Carbondale back in January, the change of venue meant giving up home court advantage, which for head coach Steve Prohm and his team wasn't a big deal. Adam, I'm here at Rupp Arena, only moments away from the big game between the Callaway County Lakers and Ashland Blazer in the first round of the Kentucky High School Basketball State Championship Tournament. The Lakers already an incredibly successful season. They took home the Class 2A title back in January. They won their district, they won the region, and now they have an opportunity to go even further. And head coach Brad Cleaver has one last message before his team hits the hardwood. Back on March 9th, the Callaway County Lakers captured the first region championship, booking their spot in this year's Sweet 16. With that in mind, the Lakers would have to wait 17 days before they would be able to play on the court at Rupp Arena. Do you like roller coasters? Because that's exactly what this game was here in Carbondale between Murray State and Southern Illinois. It came down to the last few seconds on a couple of made free throws for the Racers and a missed three-point shot for Southern Illinois. And because tempers were flaring and the energy was so intense, head coach Steve Prohm had one message for his team, and that was to relax. This is a tennis ball. It's green, it's small, it's fuzzy, it's simple. But what isn't so simple is going undefeated in back-to-back regular seasons. But the Murray State women's tennis team did exactly that, and they've earned the #1 overall seed in this weekend's Missouri Valley Conference tournament. And head coach George Catano says his team is ready for battle.
I told them, if you focus on your teammates and you focus on doing what we've been practicing, you guys are going to be fine. We're going to find 4 points. That's what we need to find. We don't need to win every match.
But the reigning champions from last year's tournament look a little bit different this year.
We had 5 new people. It feels really different having a lot of younger people, but I was impressed on how all of us handled everything.
Despite the new faces on the team helping to provide success, the Racers stay humble, making sure not to get too ahead of themselves.
I don't want to guess for the future, but I really think that we have a good chance of showing off and doing our best this weekend.
Doing their best might be the main goal, but it's not the main mission. These college athletes just want to enjoy playing the sport they love.
I think it's really important, especially at college, when you're with your friends, with your teammates, they're having fun. I think it's the main point of being athlete.
The Racers have beaten their last 12 opponents, with their most recent loss coming to Lipscomb over 2 months ago. But with the #1 overall seed this weekend, their semifinal matchup will be on Saturday against the winner of Belmont and Northern Iowa. In Murray, I'm Drayton Charlton-Perrin with WPSD Local 6 Sports. It's that time of year, the NCAA Golf Championships. And although the UT Martin Skyhawks didn't make a regional as a team, fifth-year senior Jonathan Zoinnis will be competing as an individual. He got this opportunity by tying for first place in the OVC tournament, and Zoinnis got to hear his name called in the selection show today, and he says this was a moment he'll never forget.
Super exciting. I was nervous figuring out where I was going to go, but couldn't be more excited to go get and play some more golf in Auburn. My fiance, she's having to take her last bit of vacation to get to come and watch me because we're getting married in June, so that's taking a lot of her time. But she's super excited to get to come watch. She said she's going to wear an Alabama shirt though.
It's super special. It's great for the program. You know, at our level, it's not the easiest to get in my opinion. So to have a guy, especially a fifth-year guy who's done so much for us, represented us well on and off the course, for him to kind of cap off his career this way kind of makes it extra special.
Zoinnis will be competing in the Auburn Regional, held May 12th through the 14th. He will be competing against 13 of the best teams in college golf, as well as 7 other individuals. From Martin, Tennessee, I'm Drayton Charlton-Perrin with WPSD Local 6 Sports. Can a Division I football team practice with only half the players? Well, that's exactly what Murray State football is doing here in the spring. Only around 60 players to use at practice, and they're expecting around 60 more in the summer. But the team is making do with what they have, and head coach Jody Wright says practices have been going pretty well.
He's loved the attitude of this team. A lot of guys working really hard. Had a lot of guys that enrolled in January that's really helping us. And we'll have over 50-something freshmen coming in June, but really pleased this spring, trying to close the gap. And this conference. I love the way the guys are working, the attitudes, and I feel like we're getting a lot better on offense, defense, and special teams.
You know, obviously we don't have the numbers that we want, but I think everybody's kind of looked at it as an opportunity to just go out there, take our individual work and the group stuff that we do have together, and make the most of it. And I think it's helped a lot of our guys mentally, kind of being able to slow the game down, especially in my position, just helping us slow it down a little bit, get a concept of the offense, and then hopefully in the fall we'll get rolling.
Due to the low numbers, they won't be able to have a proper spring game. However, that being said, they're going to do the best they can to imitate a spring game type environment later on this week. And in the summer, they are expecting the biggest recruiting class in the history of the Murray State football program. That'll do it for me in Murray. I'm Drayton Charlton-Perrin with WPSD Local 6 Sports. After suffering a season-ending hand injury last season, Southern Illinois starting quarterback DJ Williams is back in action this spring. And although the Salukis opted out of a traditional spring game, Williams was seen today in the final practice of spring, throwing the ball nicely and competing. And head coach Nick Hill said he is excited to have his QB1 back in the mix.
I loved everything about DJ. His presence, who he is as a person, is number one. And then him being here, this is his second spring. He was here last spring, and then getting to see him, his work ethic and everything through the summer and the fall camp. And then, you know, got a short glimpse of having him out there in a Saluki uniform. And then he's been awesome. He was awesome last year when he got hurt. And then, I mean, he knows this is his team, and he's done a great job with that leadership role.
Yeah, I got to prove a point. Coming out to be dominant every game, I got a lot to prove. A lot of things that was unfinished last year, so it's really unfinished business for me.
In the 3 games Williams played last season with the Salukis, he threw for over 570 yards through the air and 4 touchdowns, as well as 240 yards on the ground and another 4 rushing touchdowns. Williams is expected to start on August 30th against Thomas More for the Salukis. In Carbondale, I'm Drayton Charlton-Perrin with WPSD Local 6 Sports. 4 straight Ohio Valley Conference championships and looking for a 5th. The UT Martin Skyhawks are wrapping up their spring football practice schedule, but for the Skyhawks, finding success will rely heavily on the quarterback position. And with the graduation of last year's starter Kincaid Dent, that vacancy needs to be filled. Dent threw for 2,500 yards and 21 touchdowns last season. This leaves head coach Jason Simpson with a big void to fill. But over the course of the spring, Jace Bauer and Julian Calves showed themselves to be the front runners. And although Simpson hasn't yet named his starter, he feels confident that they have the right talent to choose from.
You know, both Julian and Jace have both been, they've done a great job competing. You know, we're certainly not where we want to be right now, but they've both had flashes. They've both showed us that, you know, with a little bit more time, we'll be ready to go in the fall. So I'm pleased.
UT Martin will travel to Oklahoma State on August 28th for their season opener. Simpson, however, isn't only worried about the Skyhawks quarterback battle. His son and former Westview High School quarterback Ty Simpson is looking to earn the job for the Crimson Tide in his 4th year at Alabama. Simpson has played sparingly over the last few years while backing up Jalen Milroe, throwing for 167 yards on 14 completions last season. And Dad has a few words of encouragement for his son.
Very proud of him, of his growth as a person, as a young man, his maturity of being able to handle things that you can control and things that you can't control. You just have to, you know, be the same way as a father one day, same way in his profession. But he's growing as a player and he's controlling things he can control much better than I would be doing at his age.
Alabama will host their spring game this Saturday. Expect to see more from Simpson. Heading over to college basketball, the Murray State Racers announced today that they will travel to Dallas next season to take on SMU November 11th. The last time they played each other was December 22nd of 2023 at the CFSB Center in Murray. The Mustangs defeated the Racers 92-65. Staying in Texas, the NCAA National Championship just wrapped up in San Antonio between Houston and Florida. After an intense matchup that went down to the wire, it would be the Gators to finish the job and be crowned national champions, winning 65-63, taking the final lead in the last minute of the game. After getting swept by the Boston Red Sox, including an 11-run loss in Game 3, the St. Louis Cardinals were looking to turn the page in Game 1 against the Pittsburgh Pirates today. But that would prove to be a tough ask for the team, who would travel to Pittsburgh to start the series. Cardinals head into the game without their catcher, Ivan Herrera, who will miss 4 weeks after suffering a knee injury yesterday. Bottom of the second, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa pipes one out to right field, brings in not 1 but 2 runs. Pirates up 3-0. Now, top of the 5th, Cardinals desperate for a run. Brendan Donovan out to right center, brings in a runner from second, and the Cardinals would find themselves down now 4-1. Bottom of the 7th, Joey Bart with the runner on second. Bang! Will it go over the fence? No, just not enough, but it is enough for the RBI. The Pirates would win 8-4.
All right, busy night, Drayton. Thanks. Final check forecast.
Yeah, we've got chilly night in